Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You read that title right. I moved to Spain. So in this video, I'm going to cover how, why, and where. So we knew we wanted to move abroad for about 5 years, and we checked different locations across the United States, down into Panama, Belize, Malta, Portugal, Greece, Italy, and of course Spain. So about 2.5 years ago, I booked a tour through it was called the Treasures of Andalusia, but it basically stuck to the Costa del Sol. Went from Nerja down to into Fuengirola. I actually stayed up in Mijas Pueblo. We went up to Ronda, we went to Gibraltar, the Alhambra up in Granada. That was all a part of the tour. So I knew once I was on that tour that the Costa del Sol was gonna be where I lived. So once we decided on the Costa del Sol, we came over, I think 3 more times for about 3 weeks each. We were here in the winter, we were here in the spring, we were here in the fall. No real need to come in the summer because it is sunny and hot every single day. So you know what the temperature is. So we tried to narrow down the city, and I really fell in love with Malaga, and my wife really fell in love with the neighborhood of Los Boliches in Fuengirola. All right, so we basically knew it was going to be between Malaga and Fuengirola. We did check Benalmádena and Torremolinos, but because they both basically sit on a steep hill, I figured when we were 70 years old, I'm not going to make that walk every day. And I'm an avid walker, like I probably walk 15 kilometers a day. So Fuengirola or Malaga was the choice for me. Now, I was leaning towards Malaga because you have like Larios, the market, the cathedral, the Alcazaba, and so much more. Mule Uno, where I'm at right now, it's amazing. But my wife was like, maybe we should go a little smaller out to Fuengirola, and more specifically Los Boliches. So we kind of went back and forth, but she won, as she usually does, because she said, like, every day, if you live in central Malaga, there's going to be tourists and people, it's going to be noisy, which sounds great on vacation, but when you got to live there for like 30 or 40 years, I seen her point. So I said, okay, Fuengirola it is. So the great thing about Fuengirola is there's about 80,000 full-time residents, but in the summer it doubles to about 160 because all the tourists come from Northern Europe, the UK. It's packed, it's lively. And then also in Fuengirola, it's pretty much self-sufficient. They got a huge mall, they got a zoo, they got tons of shopping, tons of restaurants, beach, like 8 kilometers of beaches, the Paseo Maritimo. It's fantastic place. We stayed there on all of our trips, and I eventually just changed my mind. Malaga was out of the picture, Fuengirola it is. So that's the where. So we actually just secured a 3-bedroom flat down in Los Boliches, not too far from the train station actually. So really excited to get in there. Should be in there later this week actually. So yeah, super excited. Love the neighborhood. All right, so let's get into why we chose Spain, and specifically the Costa del Sol. So we searched lots of different places, and this is one of the safest, most beautiful, with the perfect weather. It's almost consistent all year long, except for in the summer it really spikes up into about 30 to 40 degrees. But other than that, it's like it's consistently in the 20s. The food is phenomenal. This is like where they grow all your pomegranates, all that stuff. Orange, there's an orange tree right behind me. Like, the place is amazing. The ham, the seafood, everything is phenomenal, and it's very, very affordable if you compare it back to North America, where our prices have gone through the roof. So of course, housing costs played a big factor in our move. And if you're comparing it to major cities back in North America like Toronto, Los Angeles, New York, Vancouver, you're gonna find Malaga much cheaper. And if you move to the outskirts, down the coast, maybe not Marbella, but definitely like Fuengirola, Benalmádena, Torremolinos, Torremule, any place like that, you're going to find it much more affordable than the big cities back in North America. And one of the other major reasons why we chose Spain, especially the south, is the transportation. It is unbeatable. There's the train line that runs right from Malaga to Fuengirola, and I believe they're going to extend that down the coast even farther. There's a great bus system. It can take you literally all over Andalusia. Malaga, Fuengirola has its own line to get back and forth to the mall, back and forth wherever you need to go. It's really convenient. Plus there's like Uber and some other ride sharing apps, of course. So Your transportation options here are amazing, and an international airport right here in the city of Malaga, and that'll take you pretty much anywhere in the world. There's even direct flights to the US. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's any to Canada yet, but I'm sure there will be eventually. And one of the biggest factors here for moving down to the Costa del Sol is how safe it is. Compared back to North America, and no offense, but the gun violence and stuff back there is gone out of control. And it's not just America, it's Canada too. So there's really none of that down here, unless if you're into like organized crime, but random people are, there's not shootings in the streets like back in North America. There is pickpocketing. All of Europe is kind of synonymous with pickpockets, so just be aware. But really, there's no major crime here. You're not going to get assaulted most likely, unless if you're maybe an idiot and you're asking for it, but it doesn't happen. It's super safe. You can walk around at all hours of the day, man or woman, you're completely safe. And you'll see this from other people who make videos. Literally Madrid, Barcelona, safe. It's just a very safe country. All right, so the next question is how did we do it? And I'm from Canada, so it might be a little different, but basically all third countries kind of follow the same process here. All right, so we came over on a non-lucrative visa, which the Toronto consulate is now calling the non-working residence visa. It's the same thing. Basically, you're not allowed to earn an income in Spain while you are here. So you must be basically self-sufficient. You can do that with either savings or with a recurring monthly pension, dividends, however your income. It could be rental properties back in North America. However you make your income, as long as it's not coming from Spain, you're okay. So you don't necessarily need to hire a lawyer. We did, just to simplify things. The application process that you're doing back in Canada or the US or England or wherever you're at is pretty simple. Just follow the checklist on the consulate website. Get your documents. In Canada, you no longer have to get them like apostilled, which Canada's not signed on to the Hague, so you can't get them apostilled. You used to have to send them into Global Affairs Canada, and that is a nightmare. So the Spanish consulate no longer requires that because the Global Affairs is so backlogged. My documents sat there for months and didn't even get nothing done to them. All right, I'm back in Fuengirola now, and what I wanted to speak on is why we use the lawyer. So for the application process, you could probably manage that by yourself quite easily. Just stay organized. But the lawyers filled out my application for me in Spanish. So when that gets sent into the consulate, it's so much easier. And as Canadians, they got rid of the interview process at the consulate. So you don't speak to the consulate at all. Like I know in the UK, you still have to go in for a physical interview. We don't do that at all. You just mail it in and they mail it back to you. That's how it works. So using the lawyers, I guess ensured that there was no mistakes, but the real benefit of them is when you get into Spain, they have contacts for bank managers and you name it. All the stuff you'll need, they have the in for you. So here's an example of the benefits of hiring a lawyer. So when you arrive in Spain, you have 30 days to get your TIE and your Padron completed. So there's actually no appointments at the police station here in Fuengirola for the month of November. So I actually have to go all the way down the coast to Estepona, which I don't know if I could have figured that out myself, but my lawyers had it all booked before I even left Canada and arrived. And they're gonna fill out all the paperwork. All I gotta basically do is pick it up and go to the police station. And yeah, so that's a huge benefit. Because I'm not fully bilingual, I have taken Spanish and I plan on immersing myself into the language more. But as of right yet, dealing with like this administrative stuff at a police station by myself, it would just be overwhelming, I believe. So I will actually link the lawyers below, and no, I'm not getting paid or anything like that. They were just really amazing people, and they're based here in Fuengirola. They treated me like gold. I can't say enough good things about them. Highly recommend them. It's Just Law here in Fuengirola. Phenomenal team, highly recommend using them. In regards to finding a place, it's better if you can set something up before you get here. I unfortunately couldn't do it because the consulate doesn't really give you a window of when you're going to be approved. They give you a 12-month window of how long it takes to process. Now I know some Canadians in the spring were having their visas returned in like 4 weeks. I applied in August, so mine took 9, and I believe the reason why is they had a backlog with all the student applications for the fall semester. So that might be why mine took 9 weeks. But regardless, it can take to 12, so plan accordingly. I wanted to take a property back in September. Good thing I didn't, because I didn't show up until the 29th of October. But it's very easy to communicate. I just use Idealista. It's the best app on there. You have to go through a bunch of different agents because it works differently. Like back in Canada, one agent can show you every property, but here it seems to be that they can only show you the properties that they have listed. I'm not sure on that, but that's kind of how it went down for us. And it's quite quick. So in Canada, it can take a little while with the application process to get a place. Mine took an hour. That was it. I walked in, viewed the place, met the owner, we had a chat, the agent was there, I went back to the office, put a deposit, and I signed the contract Wednesday. And like, so it was super fast, very easy. There's none of this like application process and it takes weeks to get approved. Not at all. Like if you got the funds, you can get a place instantly. And one more thing to mention, as a Canadian, the consulate doesn't have a tracking process like they do in the UK. I believe you guys have an online tracking process. That does not exist in Canada. So once you submit it, there's basically no word until it comes. Like I found out when I opened the mail that I was approved. I wasn't too worried about being approved though. You can see the guidelines and the financial requirements. If you meet those, you're not a criminal. I'm gonna say you're probably gonna be successful, especially with the NLV, because you don't have to submit business plans or anything like that. So it's a very simple process. So I'll just give you a few tips, maybe take them if you want them. I would rent first, definitely, before you buy. We're gonna rent for 2 years down in Los Felices, and then within that 2 years, we're gonna look for like a townhouse, duplex, or a villa or something to buy in a couple years once we find the exact neighborhood that we want to purchase in. If you're Canadian, because there's no tracking process at the consulate, when you submit your application, you have to send an express post envelope to get your passport returned to you. Take a picture or write down the tracking number and put that into the Canada Post app. It will stay inactive until they mail it back to you, but that's how I knew that I was approved, that my visa was on the way. And then like 2 days later, it showed up and I knew I was approved. But that's really the only way to know when your process is completed. I have heard of some Canadians getting an email from the consulate. I didn't, and I'd say most people do not get an email. All right, so another tip for you. If you think you're gonna come to Spain and you're gonna live in an Airbnb for like 3 months while you find a place, it's not gonna happen, at least not in Fuengirola. I've seen it all over Facebook in the forums about people getting Airbnbs for 3 months. You're not allowed here anyways in Fuengirola. You have 30 days. And your contract cannot be rental. It must be like a legit contract. So no VRBO or anything like that. And it's gotta be for a minimum of 6 months. Better if you could get a year. Like my contract that I'm signing tomorrow is for a year. So then I don't gotta worry about this stuff. So I don't know where in Spain they're doing the Airbnbs, but I have seen it. Maybe Madrid or Barcelona, I don't know. Maybe Valencia because the housing market's tighter, but down here, legit contracts only. So as you can see, that's the Miramar Centro Commercial, or the Miramar Mall down here in Fuengirola. It's huge, something like 140 stores in it or something like that. It's good. Anyways, you might want to consider downsizing. I mean, if you're coming over on a golden visa and you're buying a huge property, you probably want to ship stuff over. We didn't bother because our flat, our 3-bedroom there that we got, that will be furnished, and then we're not buying for a couple years, so we'll just furnish that place when we buy it. We didn't really want to deal with the shipping times and the importation and any duties that may pop up or anything. I just didn't want to deal with it. They have all the stores here. None of your electronics are going to work over here. They're all on the European wattage or whatever it's called. So yeah, that's not going to happen. And yeah, they have everything here. IKEA, Costco, like everything is here. You won't be missing anything. Yeah, so just a tip. We sold our house years ago and then went into like an apartment and downsized, and we kept downsizing. Then when we got real close to leaving, we went into an Airbnb for a while, and then for the last 5 weeks we just stayed in the Marriott in Edmonton, and once we got the visa, that was it. We were out of there. I mean, you do have, I believe, 3 months once you get your visa to enter Spain. I wanted to get the hell out of Canada before winter set in, especially Alberta, because it's like -30 there all the time in the winter. So I got out of there as soon as like a week after my visa came, I was out of there. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to drop any questions below. I'll try to answer them. I'm not really an expert, but if I can't answer it, I'll maybe send you in the right direction. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.